Hi, good morning. Today I want to show how to use Gemini Canvas to generate a blog post about router outlet data in Angular 19. So, router outlet data is a feature in 19 where a component can pass data to the routed component using the router outlet data of the router outlet directive. So I had a demo done last week on step list. Coding part is easy for me, but writing takes hours because English is my second language. I need at least 4 hours to write a blog post and publish it online. So if um, Gemini Canvas can cut down the time by 1 hour or 2 hours, my productivity can improve immensely. So let's start. So the quality of the generated blog post is highly related to the quality and accuracy of the prompt. So I recorded this video 5 or 6 times because the content that Canvas generated had a lot of mistakes. I wasn't happy because the quality of the generated blog post failed to meet my standards. Then I changed my prompt. I added more code snippet, more instructions, and the quality of the blog post improved dramatically. I'm going to spend a few minutes to explain my prompt. So I want to write a blog post about router outlet data in Angular. It is a feature in Angular 19 where a component passes data to the router component through the router outlet data input of the router outlet directive. So this is the structure of the blog post. It should start with an introduction. The problem is solved. Example to explain the usage of the router outlet data input. So I want the demo to have three Angular standalone components, A, B, and C. So A passes the data to the outlet component B, and B passes the data to the outlet component C. The routes must be provided to show that A is the grandparent component, B is the parent component, and C is the child component. Follow the best practice of Angular. Use low component property to lazy load the component, and low children property to lazy load the child routes. So to improve the readability of the routes, I prefer export default class component A instead of export class component A. So the component can be lazy load like this. So I found out Canvas couldn't generate a correct routes array for me. Therefore, I had to write the code of the route arrays. I mentioned the file names. So in app.router.ts, the route array should look like this. And in this, when the path is A, it uses the load children property to lazy load the routes in a.route.ts file. So this is the let me see. Yeah, this is the route array in a.route.ts. So so when the path is an empty string, the component is component A. So, and when the child path is B, load children property is used once again to lazy load the routes in a b.routes.ts file. So so when the path is an empty string, component B is displayed, and then when the child path is C, I use the load component property to lazy load the component in a c.component.ts file. So this is the app.config.ts. I need to provide like the routes to the application, and then I use the new Bootstrap application function to bootstrap app component and app configurations. Okay, so well, router outlet data input is relatively new. It is less than 1 year old. This feature was released in last August, so I can understand why Gemini Canvas doesn't know the correct syntax to use it, or Gemini Canvas doesn't even know about this router outlet data input. I think a lot of Angular developers don't know about this feature. So if human developers don't know, I don't expect the LLM to know. So in component 8, I have a signal called data, and then I pass the value to router outlet data input of the router outlet directives. And then in component B, I use the router outlet data token to get the data from the router outlet. And I want to give more information to the LLM so it can learn and become a smarter artificial intelligence. So the router outlet data injection token provides an instance of signal unknown, so it must be cast to the expected type. So data from A equals inject router outlet data, and I cast the result to a signal. And then in the inline template of B, I need to call the getter function of data from A in order to display the message and the value. And in Angular 19, components are standalone by default, so I don't want Canvas to generate standalone colons true in the component decorator. I mean, if it generates this line for me, I have to manually like delete it from the Google Docs. So I want Canvas to not generate this line in the first place. And more instruction about how to create a hyperlink with router link directive, and in the imports array of the component decorator, I want to see router link and router outlet. Well, if Canvas doesn't generate this line for me, I have to manually add it into the component decorator in the Google Docs. So I want like Canvas to do it for me to save me a few seconds. So yeah. So the app component has the router outlet directive that routes to A after like the application starts. Next, I have explanation of codes. I don't need Canvas to be 100% correct, but if Canvas can generate some bullet points, I can start from there and add my own words. Key benefits of using the input to pass data to the router component. This is a little too hard for me. Like when people ask me why you use this feature and not that feature, I do not explain very well. So I want Canvas to generate some bullet points for me, and I can add my own words or delete the others before sharing it to the public. Conclusion, and then the last section is resources. So I want the resource section to show the PR of the feature, the API documentation in Angular.dev, and finally my step list demo. So on the right side, we see the blog post that Canvas generated. I skimmed through it very quickly, and the quality of the blog post is very high. I have like some suggestions to it. Then I can export the document to my Google Drive. So this is the title. I love it. The first paragraph is short, but to the point. The problem is solved. I want to expand this section a little bit later. The routes arrays are correct. App config, yep. Bootstrap application, yep, is also correct. Yeah, I want Canvas to get rid of this line for me. Yeah, the inputs array, yeah, has router outlet and router link, so I don't have to add this manually. Router outlet. Oh, I love it. It's because self-closing tag is allowed in Angular 19. So yeah. So data is a signal, and the getter function is called to obtain the value, and then it is passed to the router outlet data input of the router outlet directive. So here, yep, inject function is used to inject the value of a router outlet data token, and signal unknown is cast as signal message string value number. Then data from A is displayed in the inline template, and then in component B, data is a different signal, and it is passed to the router outlet data of the router outlet directive. So in component C, right, the ingest function inject router outlet data token to get the value, and data from B, getter function is called to display the message and the value. Yeah. Now this component doesn't have router link and router outlet, so it doesn't have an import array. And yeah, but if router link and router outlet are imported into component C accidentally, I will see 1 or 2 warnings in a VS Code. So this is the app component. Amazing. Yeah, the inline template has only router outlet directive to route to component 8 when the application starts. Yep. Explanation. Yeah, the explanation looks good. I want to keep the entire section. Key benefits: simplify data sharing, improve the readability, enhance maintainability, type safety. Yep, all correct. Conclusion. Yep, it's a valuable addition for developers working with complex routing scenarios. Okay, the PR, the API documentation, and my step-based demo. Yep. So far, so good. Okay, I'm very happy with the quality of the generated blog post, and I only have 2 suggestions to give to Gemini. So the first one is, please remove standalone true from the component decorator. So it is because standalone true is not needed in Anchor 19. Like component is standalone in this version by default. I know I'm verbose, but I want to explain why I do something. Like Canvas is a 5-year-old. Okay, see. Okay, gone, and gone. Amazing. Yep. And I want to expand the problem is solved. Please expand the problem is solved section. Please add a bullet point list to describe like various options to pass data from a parent component to a routed component. For example, path parameter, query parameter, surface, router data, and router function for prefetching data, and finally state management libraries such as ng. So for each bullet point, please describe in one sentence is drawback. Oh, okay. For each bullet point, please describe its drawback in one sentence. Okay. Previously, passing data to router component often involves such as route parameters, query parameters, or shared surface could become cumbersome, especially when dealing with complex data structure or nested routing scenario. Provide a more direct and intuitive way to pass data, improving code readability and maintainability. So here are some common methods and their drawback per parameter. Okay, query parameter expose data in the query in the URL, which may not be desirable for sensitive information and can become unwieldy and widely with large dataset. Yeah. Introduce a dependency on a shared surface, potentially leading to increased complexity and a need for careful stage management, especially in larger applications. Router data are primarily designed for static or route-specific configuration, not ideal for dynamic data paths during navigation. Router function for prefetching data. While useful for loading data before navigation, it doesn't directly pass data from a parent component to its router child in the same way as RouterOutletData. State management library can be overkill for simple data transfer between parent and child route, adding significant complexity for a relatively narrow use case. So the router outlet data input addresses these drawbacks by providing a straightforward, type-safe, and efficient way to pass data directly from a parent component to its router child. Wow, very good. Gemini Canvas English is better than me. Well, I want to provide more information to the router function because it can be tricky to the beginner. So please add this information to a router function for prefetching data. Like a router function can return either a promise or an observable. So if the function returns an observable and it doesn't complete, then then the application is stuck, and user may see a loading screen. And they may not able to reach the, to navigate to the router component. Yeah, thank you. A router function can return either a promise or an observable. If the function returns an observable and it doesn't complete, the application is stuck and user may see a loading screen and may not be able to navigate to the router component. Oh, okay. Can you paraphrase it for like developers whose first language is English? I don't know. A router function can return either a promise or an observable. If the function returns an observable, it is crucial that the observable completes. If it doesn't complete, the application can freeze, showing a loading screen and preventing the user from navigating to the intended page. Oh, it sounds so professional. Thank you. Thank you. I'm satisfied with the blog post. How can I save it? The blog post is currently displayed in an interactive editor. You can save it by copying the text and pasting it to your preferred document editor, like, oh, okay. Well, let's press this button. I want to provide more information to the router function because it can be tricky to the beginner. So please add this information to a router function for professional data. Like a router function can return either a promise or an observable. So this is the end of my video. The Google Doc has the code and all the sections of the blog post. We'll continue to work on it and then publish the final version to dev.tl. I see potentials in Gemini Canvas in generating blog posts. However, the writer needs to provide a very high quality prompts with high percentage of accuracy in order to generate a blog post with good quality and error-free coding examples. So this is the end of my video, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do, and have a good day. Bye bye.